What's up, everybody? This is another episode of the Cryptocurrents. It is April 9th, 2018, and let's go ahead and jump into the news. If you could just follow me on, or subscribe to me on YouTube, and follow me on Twitter, and then donate any of the three currencies if you have any lying around. The background music is provided by this playlist I have on YouTube, and that it's all free music, so you could support the artist by just clicking the video and going to their preferred support method. Here we go. So now we'll actually jump into it. Salesforce is developing a blockchain and crypto solution, the co-founder revealed. They'll be holding their first Dreamforce conference later this year. He hopes that Dreamforce will have a blockchain and cryptocurrency solution for Salesforce and for all of our customers, he said. I think it's a really exciting area for all of them. It's very promising considering how much of a giant Salesforce has become in a relatively short amount of time. While they've been around in the Silicon Valley area since the 2000s, since 2010, they've gone from occasionally having a billboard, so now having the Salesforce Tower playing a big part in a lot of the construction and improvement of convention centers in San Francisco. So, and the price of doing all of that in the city of San Francisco is quite expensive. So they're just a revenue giant. They generated almost $8.4 billion in revenue last year. I could see them using blockchain and distributed ledger technology to make it very cheap. To have it be a much cheaper way of kind of distributing the security and the power of their network rather than having to spend so much on providing it all themselves. Not that they can't afford it, but it would still provide some extra security and also just provide a huge usage case for blockchain if it actually gets up and running and works successfully. Alright. This one I don't have over here, but basically the police officers went and blackmailed / extorted this guy for his bitcoins. Police officials are accused of kidnapping local residents Shalish Bhatt, Karit Paladia, and a driver referred to as Mahi Paul, taking them to a farmhouse, beating them, and forcing them to transfer the bitcoins. According to a separate report, the amount involved is equal to roughly $1.3 million, according to current prices. That was 200 bitcoins, basically, were stolen from these people. The police officer said there's no proof from which wallet to wallet in terms of their defense, but of course the police are going to try to defend their own, even in India, until the end. And Overstock's blockchain division, T0, is releasing a security token trading platform preview. The blockchain subsidiary of e-commerce giant Overstock has revealed the prototype for its soon-to-be launched token trading platform. They revealed the prototype Monday in a video demonstration and hope to release the beta sometime in May. That being said, he believes the new platform is making history. We anticipate the security token trading software will be ready to trade security tokens in May, subject to develop further regulatory clarity. Basically, they're assuming a lot of these digital assets or cryptocurrencies or tokens, however you deem them, will be deemed by the U.S. government as securities. So if they're setting up to build a securities trading platform, then they're maneuvering themselves to be ready when that regulation time comes in. Based on the video, they did have a very clean UI and a UX, and they're hoping to comply with all regulations, so it'll be a good, it'll look much more like a typical trading platform than current options outside of Binance. So they're based on assuming that is how the regulatory options, like the regulations, come down, they are positioning themselves to succeed when the rules do change. Alright, is XRP a security? Major Ripple debates explained. I don't have a lot on my document for this as well, because basically it's higher ups at Ripple have said that it's not a currency in order to make it basically usable and exist, like to have it have its current existence. So it's gonna be looked at as a security. So even if you do use it as a currency, or yeah, you do use it as a currency, or you want to hold it as like a token because you are a financial player and you want to use their services in that sense, they will still be registered as a security. So you will, unless you do it through Ripple, the company, and you're not using anything like using the XRP token, then that would be your way getting around it. But otherwise, if you're using the XRP token, it's definitely going to be looked at as a security. In America, since that's where Ripple is based, that's where they're going to have to, those are the rules that they're going to have to globally enforce. There we go. The next bit is 2 Japanese exchanges got taken down for not following Know Your Customer rules, among other regulations. Effective immediately, the suspension will last until June 5th and June 7th for Eternal Link and FSHO, according to 2 administrative penalty orders issued by the Financial Services Agency, the FSA, on Friday. In the month-long inspection, it was alleged the 2 operators had not properly required customers to provide information for such purposes like trades. They also had not implemented procedures around reporting suspicious transactions. The failure to basically do such anti-money laundering efforts has caused them to not be in compliance with the Act on Prevention of Transfer of Criminal Proceeds, the agency said. On top of it all, they also said that those 2, along with lawsuits, were all found to have made insufficient improvements to their internal safety measures that guard user information against potential cyber threats. So they didn't follow the Know Your Customer rules. They didn't report suspicious trading activity, which means they also could have basically been allowing trade manipulation and insider trading. And on top of the government's issues with them, if you're just a user, they're not protecting your data, so they don't care about your security either. So this falls under my general policy of let the controlled burn of these fraudulent coins and exchanges continue. This is just a little price analysis, but that doesn't really matter. We're in a general stabilizing, if not long-term bear run. It's going to have to hit all the way up to like 77 and hold for over a day or 2 before we can start talking about anything else. This one is How Anonymous is Crypto. It's the gist of the article, and simply put, depending on how you get it, it's not. If you buy it through a Know Your Customer site, they have all your identifying information and your wallet addresses. They could trace that wallet address on a blockchain explorer, find wherever you sent that wallet, and then track those wallets too. Like if the government, for whatever reason, wanted to put that much effort into tracking you specifically, or an individual, this much time if there was the want and the ability, then it could be done. Basically, it could be done somewhat easily. The only way you can try to keep it as anonymous as possible is if you buy it through cash on a local bitcoin.org where you don't exchange any names or anything like that, or even you do it through an Amazon box and they only have a PO box. There's ways you could do it minimizing your ID that way, or you could do it through a Bitcoin ATM where the only thing that will then be given away is kind of like a general location, but you could drive somewhere and use a Bitcoin ATM if you don't want it to be in your residence. The only downside is that you would then have to you'd have to print it on a paper wallet and have to hope that your printer doesn't save the image files of what it prints. And then you have a largely secure paper wallet, and you could use that, and as long as you never put it through an exchange or something like that that uses KYC, then it could basically ramble around as an anonymous wallet quite easily. But outside of that, all of it can get tracked to you. And even if you do all that anonymous stuff, even if you're just on social media and you're posting about what you get and when you get it, and someone uses the blockchain explorer that way, they could still figure out that wallet address and then link it to you. I mean, sure, if your online identity is a pseudonym or something like that, then you're largely okay, unless they track all those websites and look at their order history and it could. But in general, you're okay. Basically, there is no easy answer to true anonymous to being anonymous. I don't know why. I was just saying it the other day just fine, but I'm having like a mental block about that right now. But yeah, there is no easy answer to being truly anonymous. There's literally an entire planet trying to prevent that, from governments to users trying to track who you are and phish you and dox you and stuff like that. Like, there's a whole world against it, so it takes some effort, but somewhat doable. And doable is to have a reasonable amount of privacy is much more doable. Alright, Nano finally gets hit with a class action lawsuit. There's finally another class action lawsuit being directed towards a cryptocurrency, I guess is how I meant to phrase it, not that I expected one to go towards Nano. This somewhat joke Silver Miller law firm, it bills itself as a cryptocurrency investor law firm, and has had lawsuits out against multiple people and cryptocurrency exchanges, as you can see, like Coinbase, Kraken, BitConnect, and Crypsy. So they're just trying to get their name out there by getting involved in the cryptocurrency lawsuits. And the lawsuit alleges that XRB intentionally had its users use the exchange BitGrail to basically dump its assets and exploit the already existing issues on BitGrail, where the $170 million allegedly disappeared in February 2018. It's alleged that the Nano team engaged in an unregistered offering and sale of securities that violated Section 512A and 15 of the Security Acts and wrongly directed investors to BitGrail. So if they win this lawsuit, then every cryptocurrency will then immediately be deemed as a security. So let me just put that out there, because that's probably the biggest point to all of this. However, I don't think it will pass because there's no hard evidence that, like, Ryblox or Nano XRB, however you want to refer to them now, there's no legal merit or evidence that they caused that trade manipulation or it was an active effort to send them all on BitGrail. They may have put them on BitGrail just because of the problems and that they had, like ease of sign up and lack of oversight. And as a result of that, which is just like the market and not anything blatantly illegal, then the usage on it was significantly higher than it was on others. Ultimately, BitGrail should be liable for this and will probably stay liable for this, and this is a way for them to try to get some pressure off of themselves and put it on Nano. But I don't believe it is merited, and I don't believe it'll pan out for them. Coinbase takes steps towards becoming an alternative trading system. The cryptocurrency trading firm Coinbase has entered into talks with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, as the Wall Street Journal reported on Friday. The U.S. regulators have been making it more and more clear that they believe most cryptocurrencies and tokens are securities. In order for Coinbase to legally comply with the future regulations, they are getting ahead of the curve. They're in talks with the SEC to become a fully licensed broker and electronic trading venue, allowing to continue working as they are when regulations come, as well as be ahead of the game for the altcoins, which they're trying to do they set up a additional support and team for ERC20 tokens, so they can be better in touch with the ICO market, and they're probably going to release it on a separate platform or website or subsidiary, but under the Coinbase umbrella. So if they have the securities for these major cryptocurrencies, and then they have this kind of somewhat, I wouldn't say decentralized exchange, but this exchange that holds basically all of the ERC20 tokens and all of as a result, most altcoins, and they can comply with both of those by having all of the proper legal paperwork, then Coinbase can become even more of a giant than it is currently. They are not the only ones doing this, as Circle acquired Poloniex, and they're going to clean up the exchange and then have them comply with regulations. And on March 7th, Bittrex said that it's in communication with the SEC. All the fact that it was not as positive in the SEC hasn't had that been discussed on major news sources. Could just be an early sign of them being biased, since Bittrex isn't a major name, but it could also be a sign that Bittrex isn't doing the best, because I personally would be very surprised if the U.S. government finds their performance satisfactory, although they could. And for all Coinbase's faults, the longer I've been in the cryptocurrency space, I'm still new. I've only been in it since December, but in December and January, I was super frustrated that Coinbase didn't have instant everything, how most things do. When you like download an app and then see it's 5 star, almost 5 stars and all that. But compared to everything else in cryptocurrency, Coinbase and Coinbase is definitely ahead of the curve. There's big money coming into the crypto space. Whoops. I guess I must have deleted it on accident. But yeah, there's the hundreds of billionaire George Soros signed off on the Soros fund to trade cryptocurrencies. Sorry. On the Soros fund to trade cryptocurrencies, effectively creating another billion-dollar whale. Between all the money he can put in, just the money that fund itself will probably have to spend. Venrock, the Rockefeller's division for venture capitalism, got the okay to trade cryptocurrencies as well as invest. My typing fell off at the end of this. Invest in blockchain businesses and ventures. Since they're both getting in near the floor of the major price correction, once the market begins to turn around, their success will be noticed by other major firms, and word will spread, and more big money will continue to come back, back into the market, since for a period of time there was quite a bit of money in the market. There's still a lot of money in the market, but since the big fall off. These I didn't have in the document, but this is just kind of fun in principle. I'm not very bullish on this yet, but in general, you're just going to be able to acquire an app using a cryptocurrency, their Gala token, which will be on I believe the Ethereum blockchain. Running under the Zeppelin ecosystem. Oh, Zeppelin ecosystem. Okay, so it's not on Ethereum, and it's expected to be on Android and iOS until it's actually out. I'm not going to be very bullish on it, but it's out. You can buy it using their utility token, and you can buy planets that are then yours, and as the game continues to advance, right now you'll have a planet with some basic visuals, descriptions of your planet, some features of your planet, etc. It'll continue to grow until you can mine your planet and grow resources and fly around and ultimately compete with other people, hoping that this will become a full ecosystem. It's super big picture, and they're hoping AI will help create all the planets and maintain gameplay and yada yada yada. And while I don't remember what the game was called, there was a game that prided itself on being infinite and being able to travel planet to planet, and then they got all the money and they all spaced out and got hooked on cocaine or whatever and just never did anything with it and released a terrible 75% finished game, but that 25% was giant. And as a result, it didn't look anything like the videos that it promised or the videos that it teased, and it was very disappointing. So I think it's very likely that this might end up like that. But building games on blockchain platforms using smart contracts and things like that, just to show how much more cheaply it can be done and how much more efficiently funded it can be done, is good news. The last bit of news I'll go into is that China looks to restrict Bitcoin and then release their own digital currencies. The vice governor of the People's Bank of China, Fan Yifei, stated, "First, we will intensify reforms and innovations to promote the central bank's digital currency research and development. Second, the bank must strengthen supervision and rectify all types of virtual currencies." It's claiming that he also claimed that such a product would help solve interest rate issues caused by cash. In the long run, due to the lower natural interest rate, monetary authorities can incorporate negative interest rate policies into the normal monetary policy toolbox, basically helping them add ways to control the economy if they have their own official digital currency. While the central bank's digital currency is conducive to the implementation of negative interest rate policies, the central bank should speed up the development of a central bank issued digital currency. In general, I think it's kind of funny that they're against Bitcoin and these other cryptocurrencies while they continue to invest in blockchain, while they don't, outlaw Neo and allow companies to be built on Neo. There's just quite a few semi-hypocritical things about it, but the fact that they're going to release a digital currency and it's likely going to just be more of like a centralized digital cash rather than official cryptocurrency, that will it won't bring much more viability or usage case like of if they had their own national cryptocurrency, like what the Swiss are going to do, or if there is a more legitimate version of the Petro, something along those lines. Those would be ways that would be much better use cases of getting more people to come in and have it be more closely tied to cryptocurrencies and blockchain itself rather than just a form of digital cash, which is a huge part of Bitcoin, but not the only part of Bitcoin and blockchain. So that's it for today. 21 minutes, not the worst, especially considering how much I went over. Go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter, support Proof of Hat, Crypto Whale Clothing. They're not sponsors of me or whatever, but I've ordered quite a bit of crypto gear, and those are the two best options I found. So yeah, I'll do another like hangout stream where I'm not going to go over any specific news later today, and I'll also do a live buy during that possibly, depending on how the price of Neo goes, because I'm really thinking about picking up a little bit more Neo if it goes on a dip during this mini bull run. So that's it for today. Later.